Whenever civilization is involved in a clash between the forces of light against the forces of darkness, good and evil, we, the Jew, is somehow at the epicenter of that conflict. We stand at the crossroads defining good from evil. And that is not an easy task. Because everybody can define what evil is, such as Nazi Germany. They didn't deny that there are evil. And then there's the ultimate good. But there is everything in between. Good disguised as evil and vice versa. We hear such names as utopia, human rights, equality. Communism was rooted in good words, in good terminology, in nice ringing buzzwords. But if you would have peeled off the onion, you would find the rotten core. And communism had a problem with Jews. If not physically, they had a problem with the Jewish religion, the Jewish culture, the Jewish community. They had to be dispersed. They shouldn't have any influence on their utopian world order. The Jew somehow is living testimony against all those who are conniving and do not show their real face when it comes to the conflict between good and evil. Why did God choose us to be at the nucleus of that fight? There are two obstacles when it comes to fighting that fight. Number one, you are demonized. When you're doing the good work, the Good Samaritan is portrayed as the evil one, as the one who does the genocide, as the one who is violating every human right. And it doesn't take long until you give up. But the real obstacle is not becoming one of them. If you have to flirt with evil, you have to make yourself and be part and be surrounded by evil in order to do the good. The worry is always that you will eventually, the slippery slope of falling into the bottomless pit of evil if you are always surrounding evil. And that needs levees and filters that you should be able to fight that good fight and not fall into this pit. It is said that by the Parsha of Iran and Achas, where you had to wipe out and destroy the entire city, there's a verse that tells you, V'nusan lechu rachamim. God will indulge you with a special dose of rachamim, because when you do that avayra lishma, when you do that good which is disguised in evil, there's always the fear that you're going to become one of them, and you have to get a special dose of rachamim. Which brings us to this week's parsha and today's politics in the Middle East. Maybe the reason why we are always called out, we are always reminded how bad we are, how evil we are, with all kinds of terminologies and labels, is the levy that God put forward for us while we are busy rooting out evil and doing this good, that we should remember not to become that which we are accused of doing. And in this week's parsha, it's the famous Meriba, where Moshe Rabbeinu disobeys God's commandments. And there are all kinds of interpretations, what he did, what exactly did he do, and why he did it. But somehow it seems to me that Moshe Rabbeinu was relaying a message to Klal Yisrael before they entered Eretz Yisrael. as a method of survival. I'm going to do an Avaida Lishma, and I'm going to be punished for it. And that will guarantee your survival. Every time when you come into this land and you start the good work, you start getting a responsibility and self-governance, as we mentioned last week. And there will always be times when you're going to have to choose the lesser evil from the two evils. And sometimes you're going to have to do Avaidas Lishma. Remember that I, Moshe Rabbeinu, gave up my entire life's project of entering the Holy Land and punished for it in order to show you that when you do an Avaida Lishma, when you do this good disguised in evil, you should not you should not get tainted with the evil that you are tackling. And maybe that is why they say that should have Moshe Rabbeinu come into the land of Israel, the shufach chamus al aitzim valavuna, the survival of Klal Yisrael, might have been in jeopardy. Maybe that message, that when you do good disguised in evil, you shouldn't be one of them, you shouldn't fall into that pit, is the message that is the secret of our survival when we are fighting the fight between good and evil.